Those must be the writings of the architect. It's all starting to make sense. I thought to myself. His journey seemed so fantastical, like something out of a fairy tale. Not so different from my own. I was reminded once again of that strange story of the farmer boy who was chasing his own love. On the top level of this dark tower, the noble farmer dropped to his knees. He saw the old hand of the witch resting on her bed. Resting so still. No. He looked up to the window ahead of him and was amazed at what he saw. The witch, beautiful and ethereal, turned to face him. "You have come a long way for the one you love," said she. "Please, please change her back," the noble farmer pleaded. "Alas, I cannot help you in this form. It is you who must now make a new choice." Her voice reverberated through the room. "Anything," he replied. "The villagers have all changed back. As soon as you left your home, the curse was lifted. But the one you love is tied to this necklace, as your heart is tied to hers. She will forever remain a doe." The noble farmer was silent, but listened closely. "If you break the necklace, you will be transformed into a noble buck. This way you can live together. If you leave the necklace with me, you will remain human, and she a doe. The choice is yours." The noble farmer considered what he had just been told. One choice would allow him to be with her for the remainder of their years, but as a buck and doe. One choice would allow him to live out his life as a human. Could he move on from this without her? Would she forgive him? In that moment, the farmer made his decision. I always found it funny that the storyteller never came to a definitive conclusion on what the farmer decided to do. Was this out of laziness? No, he wanted us to draw our own conclusions. In my mind, I always imagined the farmer decided to. The farmer smashed the necklace on the ground. Wind and snow burst through the window and the witch dissipated. A whirlwind of snow surrounded the noble farmer. He was getting colder and colder, and suddenly warmer and warmer. He looked up and felt the sun's rays enveloping his body. He was in a beautiful meadow, back home, and ahead of him, there she was. Back here again?
Welcome, traveler. It is good to finally meet you face to face.
How am I seeing you here? Weren't you in Ikal long ago?
Oh, this realm is just a dream within the dream. You will soon continue your quest, and we will continue to guide you. But for now, I'd like to share with you the tale of our people. We were once a developed tribe. Our discovery of Verve allowed us the advanced ability to build, create, and heal, which was well beyond what others in the world could do. We prided ourselves on our accomplishments, but still remained in touch with nature and the land. A perfect balance existed in this forest. Until one day we awoke to the beginnings of a nightmare which resulted in our downfall.
Welcome, traveler. When the nightmare began, we started to notice some of our tribe act impulsively. Those of us who always had strong desires felt compelled to bring those desires to fruition. Some could say that this motivation could be a blessing to man, but you can see how this can turn an unsavory desire into a curse. Hunger became gluttonous. Desire for power became greed. Sadness became despair. Our people began to feed into these desires and eventually were compelled to the well within Jezero, where they met their untimely demise.
But what started this obsession?
Some say the well was created by otherworldly energy from a falling meteor, while others still yet, the well could have formed from just the burning desires of the people living in this land. Or it could have simply always lived within this forest, waiting. Either way, this beautiful cursed place must be kept a secret and must be protected. As time passed, the energy began to spread and started to affect the wide reaches of this forest. Those of us who hadn't yet succumbed learned that the obelisk stones kept this abnormal energy at bay. So as long as the obelisks were intact, we were protected. But our people couldn't exist forever. This is what the architect hoped to resolve when he found us many, many years later.
decision to confine us within these mechanical bodies was not done lightly. Our souls lingered in this forest for so long, not wishing to escape its grasp, and many of our memories began to fade. It was only the few of us, along with Arkarel, Ixigia, and Camtot, that kept a semblance of our original selves. But to be bound immortally against our own choice and free will was something we three no longer wished to endure. This responsibility needed to be passed on to others, and we needed a new protector. You have overcome your fears and your insecurities, and now you have your own path to follow. While you do not play a role in how this forest continues to live, your decisions have altered many of the events to this point. For that, you are unique. We wished you the courtesy of learning our tale. But for now, our tale is done, and we will see you through to the end of this adventure. Now, it's up to you what you do next.
Is this him? I can't imagine handling the fate of all these souls, and I can't say I would have made the same choices. But I understand his urgency, and that he was trying to do what he thought was right. This is what happened, and now I must move forward.
It seems you have met your wish.
I am in no mood, fiend. Where is it?
It stands before you.
Are you just a demon whose sole purpose is to manipulate those of us who have nothing left?
You still think that, do you? I have many purposes. What is yours?
You disregard my question? How could you be so cruel, leading me down a path like this?
Every choice you've made has been of your own accord.
Not everything has been in my control.
No one forced you to come to the forest, boy.
But I did, and I am here. And I ask you for the final time, where is the machine that grants wishes?
Tell me once more what you would do with a machine like that. You can have any wish you want.
I would wish to go back to the way things were, with Sophia. Back in time.
I can grant you any wish. All I ask is that you play me one final tune. I'd like to hear a nostalgic tune. Your melody will open the way.
And the tree opened before me. I felt a cool breeze on my face, calming. For a moment, I felt like I could already feel her warmth. But I snapped back to reality. I was faced with my final choice. My choice. My choice. In those final moments of the forest, I decided to. And so I went ahead to conclude my... Wait, what? I'm here again? No, 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 no. For those of you who have given up on a dream and know the thing called loss,
strange. In all my days, I've never seen markings like this before. Something feels off. My head. Buzzing. No, it can't be.
Cold are the cinders where once burned a flame. A smoldering scar lays beneath. Behind lies a journey of sorrow and shame. Beyond lies a veil I can't see. Petals of ash, dusting the path that I lead. Deep in the forest I wandered in vain, a passion still burning within. A flame that consumed me now burns in my soul. A song forged anew from my pain, to kindle the fire or let it run cold. My travels now shape my refrain. Petals of ash, scars of the past. Petals of ash blanket the last of my pain.